Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to Gundam the Card Games. This is a brand new game by Bandai, following around the Gundam. So, this is going to be a first video we're going to go through. Is just kind of an overview of kind of like what's in the game, what are some of the base concepts of the game, and then I'm going to do 4 separate videos for each one of the different starter decks. I was going to originally combine them some together, but I think going through each one, there's enough on there. It's going to take a little bit more, so we'll just give each one their own individual attention. Now, there are online tutorials or an app that you can go ahead and download if you want a better play experience. You can kind of follow on the app, which that's what I did. It was really fun. You actually kind of go step by step learning how to play, and then they actually let you play a couple of full matches. It's not just, oh, you walk through the step-by-step tutorial on how to do it. That lets you play your own games on there. Some pre-built decks. It's a fun way to maybe learn and see if it's something you want to do before you hop into it if you're looking at playing it. If you're familiar with other Bandai card games, such as Dragon Ball Z, Digimon, One Piece, there's going to be a lot of similar elements in there, but this does bring some new stuff into the game. So the videos we'll be going through Starter Deck 1, which is Heroic Beginnings, Starter Deck 2, which is Wings of Advance. Each one has 2 different colors. Each deck can be made up of 2 different colors, so kind of getting different ones. So we have Starter Deck 3, which is Zeon's Rush, and Starter Deck 4, which is Siege Strike. So what do we have in the game to kind of look at that makes it different or interesting? As we have our big area here. So, how to win the game? Let's just start with that. The idea is what you're supposed to be doing. Well, first of all, what is Gundam? In case you don't know. Gundams are the giant mechs that you see in all the different boxes here. Although the term Gundam is kind of an odd term because of the series. Every single series plays the game very differently, has different rules and concept of what is or isn't a Gundam. Like in the very first one, there was one unit called Gundam. That was the Gundam. But then later series, we have like Gundam Wing, which is one of the ones we're going to look through, basically there's the 5 main Gundams because they're made of Gundanium alloy. Special things that make them stronger than the other mobile suits, which are the other giant mechs. So they're basically just like the more powerful ones. And then other people did create a few more of them throughout the series. So each one has different things. So not technically every single giant robot in here is a quote-unquote Gundam. Lots of them are just mobile suits. Some of them might not even technically be classified as mobile suits, depending on the world you're in. But besides just being giant robot battlers, there's also a lot of plot with the different characters and stuff behind the scenes, usually different wars and conflicts. So it's if you're just looking at this to get looking at the shows to watch, it's just I want to see 2 big giant mechs battling all the time. You're going to get that, definitely, but there's also a lot of war and psychological stuff going on in the background of different things, motivations and political type things. It's very interesting. So you might not like one series, but you might like another series. Some people love Gundam Wing. Some people like the 8th MS team, which is very more guerrilla warfare type stuff. Some people like G Gundam, which is like a tournament of mechs. C Gundam, one of the newer ones. I don't know what they all are. All the different stuff for all of them. I haven't seen all of them, so there's definitely that. Alright, so what is the game? The game is to defeat your opponent by defeating all their shields, aka their health. So on the battlefield here, we'll have a big giant area for you to place all your units. You can only place up to 6 at a time. So it's a very interesting concept. We'll look at some of the other stuff there. We have a resource area down here, which we use to like pay for the cost of your stuff. You have your trash and your deck area, so your deck and your discard pile. But yeah, so what we want to do is defeat your opponent's shield. So during your turn, you're going to attack with your Gundams, attacking your opponents, either their rested Gundams, when they've been exhausted and been used, to try and destroy them so that they can attack you, or attack their shields. And once you've destroyed all 6 of their shields, plus hit them 1 more time, so basically 7 hits to them, then they lose the game. But there's also a cool concept is we have a base. This will be an extra card that you can put. It starts with a special one, which we'll look at in a moment. You can put an additional one on top of there to basically strengthen you up and give you special abilities and protect your shields, which is a really cool idea. So very neat. Then we have our different Gundams, which we'll kind of take a look at one of those in a minute. I'll grab one out. But they're all going to have different costs and levels you can play as them as. They have special abilities, attack and defense. Damage is persistent in this game. So if you take 2 damage, it stays on your character. So this makes it different than lots of these other games, where usually they have 1 number and then it's an attack, they do something and it goes away and then they start back over the next turn. So you can defeat these guys over multiple turns, which is really cool. You can also put pilots on them, which give them extra bonuses, stats, abilities, things like that. And then the other really neat thing here is the resource. So every deck starts with 10 resource cards, which are going to look like this. They're going to have a red back on there. And there's the resource cards. Basically, you rest these sideways to pay for a cost of a card. So very similar to most other card games. And that's kind of how that works. And there's all the other basic little rules in here, which I'm not going to go over every single thing in there. Again, you can look at some of the stuff there. I just kind of want to go over some of the basics of that. But what we do want to look at is one of the Gundams, mechs, suits, units, to kind of see some of the information on there. So I'm looking at one of the basic ones here. So you have the GM Gundam. So you have a bunch of information. So the top up here is a set. It's from starter set, card number 5. It's a common. The little hexagon means it is a first edition card. At the top up here, we have level 2 and we have a cost of 1. So every turn you play a resource card, you get to add a new one to your turn. So turn 1, you'll add 1 card. Then turn 2, you'll add 2 cards. Now you're level 2. You're at level 2. Then turn 3, you're level 3. And it can go up like that. I'm not going to say there won't be cards in the future that return some of those back to your hand or let you add more additionally. But that's generally how that works. So this guy has to wait till turn 2 to be played, but it only costs 1 point then. So if I have another 1 point character, I can play them. Anytime after turn 2, I can play them for the 1 cost. On the bottom down here, we have the 2 little black numbers. We have the AP, which is your attack points, and the HP, which is your health points. So this guy can deal 2 damage. He can take 2 damage. If he takes 1 damage, his damage goes down to 1. He can only take 1 more hit before he's destroyed. They do give us a bunch of little counters to put on the board for that. So they're all double-sided. As well as we have AP plus 1 and AP minus 3 for some of the different cards that give us bonus, and we have an extra special resource token there in case you need one of those. And then they can have some other different keywords. So this text box is blank. He has no special abilities, but he could be from space to Earth. He has Earth Federation, and he has a link. So it's just some of the different things that he might be able to do. So let me grab another different guy here. So we have Gun Cannon. So up here he is level 3, and he costs 2. So I have to wait till turn 3 to play him. He again has no special abilities, but he does have some different attacks, or different effects down here. And he has, keywords I should say. He has Kai Shigen. So if you have the character Kai Shigen, you can link him to him, and then he gets the extra special things happen. Alright, then we have, I'm gonna grab one of the rare cards so we can see a couple other different abilities in here. So then we have our legendary rare for one of the sets is we have the Gundam, who costs level 4, costs 3. So he has repair 2, so he has the ability to recover up to 2 health, up to his maximum for every turn. So he can deal damage more and keep repairing without having to worry about losing him. If he is paired with a pilot, you can during your turn all your units get 1 extra attack. So pairing him with a pilot character makes him really good. And then he has a link with Amuro Ray. So this is going to bring us to our second type of card, which is a pilot. So pilots have the same thing, have a level, have a cost. Also, they're going to say pilot down here. And they're going to give a bonus. So when he gets added to a Gundam, or a unit, he's going to give him plus 2 attack, plus 1 health. Now, you can put a pilot with any single character. Even though it says link down here, Kai Shigen, or our first one didn't have one, I can put Amuro Ray with any one of them to give them a bonus. And then it says, well, they're paired. I can choose an enemy unit when paired. So the first time I attach them to a unit, I can give him the bonus that says choose one enemy you have by roll his health and rest it. So now I can choose to attack that guy. So that's really fun. Another really cool thing in there, though, is this link ability. So this is a really neat thing. So if you link with that specific pilot, so if this Gundam gets their pilot from the show, they can attack on the turn they're playing. So basically, if I wait till turn 4, I'll have 4 resources. I could play my Gundam for 3, and normally he couldn't attack. I have to wait till my next turn. If I attach a Merle Ray to him right off the bat, then he gets to attack that turn. But he also gets his ability to rest another unit, so now I can make that guy attackable with my new Gundam, who has 5 attack and 4 health. But then during pair, he also gets 1 extra attack. So he actually has 6 attack during his turn. So it's a really cool combo you can do with some of the other guys. Now, not every single character is going to have a during paired ability with them. So, like, again, if I looked at Gun Canyon, if I had a Kai Shiden, I could go ahead and link him to that character. It doesn't give him any special abilities based on this card, but it does let me at least attack with him right away. So sometimes that might be a beneficial reason to play some of your cheaper cards later on. So it's a very cool idea. There are also units in different colors. We have like the blue, we have the white, we have green and red in the other decks. I don't have them. Bunch of different mechs there. The next type of card I did want to show off are the command cards. So command cards work just like all the rest of them. They have a level, they have a cost, they say command on the side. But these are basically special things that are happening on it, aren't a character or a unit or a mech. So this is Kai Resolve. It says, during your main phase, you can choose one friendly unit to recover 3 HP. So basically, it's a healing card. Now, I can also use him as a pilot. So I can pilot him and give any character +1. Now, again, if I link him to my gun cannon, which we just looked at a moment ago, I can then attack with him right away. But I might not want to wait around for that. I love the idea of some command cards having pilots because it gives you, hey, if all my guys are doing really well, I don't need to heal 3 HP. It might make more sense for me to boost up their attack. It kind of keeps cards from maybe being dead in your hand. But then there is also, just as to show, there are also command cards that don't have any pilots. So not everyone is going to have one. The other thing I haven't talked about for ability or keyword-wise is bursts, which are the yellow ones. So if a card is in your shield area and your opponent attacks and destroys one of your shields, you check that card. If it has the burst effect, you can use its effect. Otherwise, it just goes to your discard pile. So this one, if it was in there, you get activate this card's main phase ability. Just choose an enemy that gets -3 attack during its turn. So if they destroyed one of your cards, you now get to reduce one of their other cards. So therefore, they might not be able to attack one of your units, or something, or another thing like that. If they're attacking another shield, it's not going to matter unless it drops their attack to 0, which then they don't have any attack to attack with. So very cool. Another, just a quick ability to show on here as well, is we have blockers. It's going to be a very common one. So you can rest this unit on your side to force the opponent to attack it. So when you're doing your attack phase, or during your turn, you can choose to play cards and attack, or play command cards, play pilots, play mechs, whatever, in any order as often as you like, as long as you don't go to the next step. So I can choose to right off the bat, I can attack someone's shield, and then wait to see if they have a burst effect. It might reduce one of my character's attacks, or put one of their cards into play, before I choose another character to attack with. This is another thing that's kind of nice with like something like blockers, because I might attack, and then with one of my characters, they could choose to block that character with this guy, right? They could exhaust this guy, block with him. Great, so it stopped my bigger attack from doing this guy, and if it didn't defeat him for some reason, so I was just attacking with like a cheap guy, now this guy's exhausted or rested, so I can go ahead and attack him. So that's why when you are attacking, you kind of want to do one attack at a time. Choose this guy to do an attack, whether it's another unit or a base or a shield or whatever you're attacking. And then do the next one afterwards, do one at a time, as opposed to some other games where you're like, I'm going to attack with these 4 characters, and go, because the battlefield can change very drastically like that. There's another card in here that lets you, one of the other pilots actually, that lets you gain an extra resource when you attack. So this might be very great. Your first turn, your first thing is you attack, or you play a card, right, and you pay like 2 to play that card, and then you can attack with this pilot on a mech and gain one of your resources back. And now you can play a bigger card in your next, before you do your next attack. So yeah, some really cool stuff in there. Alright, then the next thing we wanted to show off for this was, I keep talking about bases. So, at the beginning of the game, you start off with this base, which goes over your 6 shield cards. It's the EX base. At the start of the game, place 1 active EX base on your shield. This gives you 3 hit points, so someone has to deal 3 damage to your base before it can attack your shields. This prevents you or another player, whoever, anybody, from just immediately, like, playing really cheap, like, 1 cost, 1/1, like, 1 attack powered mechs, and just overwhelming into your opponent's shields and taking stuff out. Because even if they did play a bunch on turn 1, turn 2, and turn 3, they each played 1 cost cards, they'd still have to do multiple attacks to be able to defeat your base. So that does give you a little bit of a buffer. But then what we do have is we have some other cards like the School of Technology Earth House, which is a new base. This is our other type of card, but it does follow the level and cost requirements. Burst lets you usually play this card for free, but they do have a deploy effect. So when they are played, you have to return a shield to your hand, so they cost a little bit to do that. But they usually give you extra abilities and give you 5 defense, or there can be alternate ones. There's another one that's the white base, which actually lets you spend, per turn, you can spend 2 resources to deploy extra token characters, units, depending on how many you have in place. This can keep helping you build up your army a little bit or make a comeback potentially. So that's a really neat effect as well. So we have our units, we have our pilots that can boost them up or give them extra attacks or extra abilities. We have our command cards, which can double as pilots as well sometimes, or just give extra bonus effects. And we have bases. So those are all really cool. We also do have the EX resource card. So at the start of the game, the second turn player places the active EX resource in their resource area. So this gives the second player an additional resource to kind of make up for being player 2, which they can use again right away. They can use again on turn 1 right off the bat to play a 2-cost card if they have one, or they can save it for turn 8 and play an extra resource then if they just want to play something extra. I'm hoping they do something like Dragon Ball Z and eventually have cards that trigger if you kept this around, you didn't use it right away, you didn't take your early extra point, you saved it for later in the game, you can gain bonuses or ways to maybe use it, and then on a later turn, someone's like, hey, if you still have this card, you can spend it by using this card to gain extra effect, and then maybe something you can get it back, so you can keep doing that. So that's really cool. Then the last type of thing is we have token cards. So these ones will have yellow backs on there. Your normal cards have blue, and your resource have red, just to keep track of them all. But the token cards will just simulate that we have the base to let you create some of these different tokens. This is just so you can throw these out so you don't have to try and remember the stats. You don't have to grab a little extra things. It's really nice when they include these in a deck. Not going to say that these couple tokens in each starter deck are going to be enough to cover every single token in the entire game. And since there are very specific ones, it's like this is for Gundam, who has a white base team and 3/3. If you have another token that just creates a 3/3 character, you could potentially use it. You just have to remember it won't trigger the other different token names. Alright, so that's what we have for these. So come back, check out the 4 starter decks, and if I can get some booster cards, I definitely will do an unboxing for those as well. Hope you guys enjoy the videos. See you later. Bye.